What's going on, everybody? Mortem here, this time bringing you an update for Solasta, Crown of the Magister, and its newly announced DLC, Inner Strength. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Solasta, it is a game that I have covered quite a bit, actually. It's a CRPG that aims to recreate 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons combat in a very rules-as-written manner. Whereas a lot of games tend to adapt the systems to a video game, Solasta, again, aims to be a more rules-as-written experience. If you want more information than that, I have reviewed the title, as well as made several guides actually, that you can check out in the Solasta playlist on the channel. But now let's actually talk about the newly announced DLC. So this is something we kind of knew was coming already, or at least the classes, as Solasta has done quite well since it launched, and this success has enabled them to continue to add classes and races to the game via DLC. Now each DLC comes with some free updates as well, via a patch typically, so we're going to cover that stuff here as well. But the DLC specific stuff are the Warlock, Bard, and Monk classes, as well as the Dragonborn Ancestry, which basically just means you can be a Dragonborn now. Now each of these classes are going to have 4 subclasses. Each of them gets a subclass from the SRD rule set, which is kind of the basic governing thing that allows Solasta to actually make its game, a sort of homebrew subclass as well, a community designed subclass that they performed a sort of contest to pick a winner for, and those winners actually got their subclass included with the class added with the DLC, which is pretty cool. And then lastly, a subclass added by the Lost Valley. Now that is something I'm a little curious about, but I didn't see any word on it one way or the other. It looks like this DLC is going to be adding subclasses if you've also bought the Lost Valley DLC, because the Lost Valley DLC gives each and every class a 4th subclass, as most just have 3 on their own. And truth be told, I don't know how I feel about that sort of interconnected DLC, if that's actually how it works, but that seems to be how it's labeled in their update. So I'm curious if that's actually going to wind up being the case. Honestly, that's functionally more or less what they did with the Barbarian and the Druid. It does strike me as a bit odd that they would release a DLC for classes that then have a subclass locked behind a separate DLC. That strikes me as strange, if I am in fact reading this correctly. But as far as the DLC stuff goes, that's pretty much it. And then there is a free patch for everyone. If you own the game, you'll get this stuff, and that is 3 new backgrounds: the Ascetic, the Artist, and the Occultist. These will give you various buffs and boons. However, these particular backgrounds won't have a main game integrated quest. If you're unaware, all of the backgrounds in the main campaign, Crown of the Magister, actually have a quest associated with their background. These 3, while they will give you new options and benefits, won't have that quest associated with them. They're also going to be adding 17 new feats, and apparently these are mostly aimed at martial classes to make them more fun. They did not specify which feats were going to be added, but we are getting 17 new feats. Controller support for PC is finally coming with this as well. And last but not least, they are finally adding some boss monsters to the Dungeon Maker. If you're unaware, Solasta has a Dungeon Maker where you can actually make your own campaigns, and they are continuously updating that as well, so something to keep in mind. Overall though, pretty cool, excited about the new classes. Personally, Warlock is my favorite class from 5e, so I'm excited to mess around with that. And last but not least, this DLC will be releasing on November 14th. I don't have a price available yet, as they don't seem to have one up on their Steam page for the DLC, but given their last class DLC was like $8, I believe, I'm pretty much expecting it to be around that ballpark, maybe a tiny bit more, as this has 3 classes instead of 2 like the previous one. But as of yet, no official word on the pricing, but we will be getting this DLC on November 14th. So that's all I've got for you guys today. I certainly hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz. But regardless of any of that, truly, just thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. May you wander in wisdom and have an amazing day.